Claressa Shields is widely known as one of the most dominant figures in modern boxing. Undefeated, disciplined, and fiercely focused on her career, she has built a reputation not just as a champion in the ring, but as a strong personality who carefully protects her image in private life. That's why many fans were shocked when reports began circulating online claiming that Claressa had allegedly filed a legal case against
year that they were dating before anybody knew. He was always at her fights and stuff, and now they are exclusive after Remy done put out that she was begging this man to call her back, begging this man to turn on his location, begging this man to buy her gifts and show her that he loves her. Meanwhile, she had a whole fiance at home. He got a whole wife. This is the family tree. Okay, and then he got a girl that out in California that do credit repair. Remy trying to put him out the house in North Carolina. He can't leave just yet because he get an old girl in California, and this is the only one that's not masculine, looking to fix his credit so he ain't got to use a CPN to get a house. Okay, and so Claressa and Papoose, after that back and forth online, decided to pop out and show a nigga over the weekend, last weekend. Let's go.
Papoose, a respected rapper with a long-standing presence in the hip-hop industry. At first, the story seemed confusing and unclear. Different blogs and gossip pages shared conflicting versions of what had supposedly happened. Some claimed it was just a misunderstanding. Others suggested it was a minor disagreement blown out of proportion. But then Tasha K., a controversial celebrity commentator known for exposing behind-the-scenes drama, stepped in and claimed she had exclusive information that changed the entire narrative. According to Tasha K., this situation was not random, not accidental, and definitely not simple. She insisted that the alleged legal action taken by Claressa Shields had deep personal roots and was connected to private interactions that had been kept hidden from the public. In her view, the headlines only scratched the surface, while the real story involved emotional boundaries, trust issues.
He behind her, he getting the rap, because nobody bought a Papoose album. Nobody bought a Papoose album. She won. That was the Remy. That was the Remy. Matter of fact, she got on the internet talking and throwing shots to Remy because she finally, after been begging this man for months to leave his wife, she ain't gonna leave her fiance yet till you leave the wife. So now she done left the fiance because you supposedly left the wife, but he's still married to Remy. They are not divorced, okay? Not divorced. So she's still technically a side.
And behavior that Claressa reportedly found unacceptable. The controversy first gained traction when screenshots and alleged private messages began circulating across social media platforms. These messages were said to show conversations between Claressa and Papoose. As soon as these images
as the #1 boxer in the world, okay? She gets out to make an interview, she gets out and makes a few videos on social media. And I just thought it was real distasteful for a world champion to be, talking slick and very low vibrational as she was. But go ahead, put her on the screen, Jeff. Let's go.
Images appeared, fans immediately started speculating. Some people believed the messages were fake or taken out of context. Others felt they hinted at something more serious. Social media users were divided. One group argued that the situation looked like nothing more than a casual exchange that had been misinterpreted. Another group believed that the tone of the messages.
Girl, he's a good man, Savannah. He's a good man. The internet been going crazy about me and Pap. Yes, they have. But I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. I was like, I want to keep him all to myself. I don't mind people knowing that we together and stuff, but I wanted to just, enjoy us together without the eyes of other people having to judge. People saying stuff like, well, I've heard a lot of good things, and because I can read too, but it's like some people say stuff.
Suggested something inappropriate. But Tasha K. rejected the idea that this was just a harmless misunderstanding. She claimed the interactions were part of a bigger pattern that had made Claressa uncomfortable over time. What made the situation even more surprising was the fact that Claressa Shields had always maintained a relatively low profile. Personal life, unlike many celebrities, she rarely appeared in gossip columns or viral scandals. Her public image had always revolved around discipline, hard work, and professional success. So when her name suddenly appeared in a legal controversy involving a rapper, fans were
like, oh, if I downgraded or if he downgraded or if he upgraded, and it's like, that's not what love is about, because I think we both feel like we both upgraded, but it's like, it's not about upgrading or downgrading. It's about being with somebody who you really care about, who you really love. Pap is like my best friend. I talk to him about everything, and when like the time is right, people want details of how long we've been together and stuff like that. Like, just wait on it. But I mean, it's clear to see that we do have a great connection, and he understands me. We have, a lot of real life conversations, and we talk every day. So, I got my job, which is being a world champion boxer and being the greatest in the world and building my brand. And he got his job. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we be together all the time, but we can't be together all the time, if you know what I mean.
Were left stunned. Tasha K explained that from Claressa's perspective, the alleged messages were not only unwanted, but also intrusive. Some sources described the communications as inappropriate, while others even labeled them as threatening, although the exact wording of the messages was never officially confirmed. Tasha claimed that Claressa felt her privacy had been violated and that her personal boundaries had been crossed. According to Tasha K, this was the moment everything escalated. Claressa, who is known to be extremely protective of her reputation, allegedly decided that ignoring the situation was no longer an option. Instead, she chose to take formal steps to protect herself. Tasha suggested that Claressa's legal team viewed the interactions as a form of harassment or misconduct and advised her to pursue legal action. But this story, according to Tasha, was never just about text messages. In her commentary, Tasha K claimed that Claressa and Papoose had a history of prior interactions that fans knew nothing about. She implied that there had been ongoing communication that gradually became uncomfortable. For Claressa, what may have started as casual contact allegedly turned into something that Claressa felt was manipulative and disrespectful. Tasha described Claressa as feeling emotionally pressured and misled. From her point of view, the situation was not only about what was said, but about how it made her feel. Tasha argued that Claressa believed her personal space was being invaded, and that the behavior went far beyond what she considered acceptable. As soon as Tasha K released her video, the internet exploded. Twitter threads appeared within minutes. TikTok creators started dramatizing the story with reaction videos. Instagram pages posted timelines and theories. Everyone seemed to have an opinion. Some fans expressed disbelief, saying they couldn't imagine Papoose being involved in something like this. He had always been seen as calm, respectful, and professional. On the other hand, many people supported Claressa. They praised her for speaking up and taking action instead of staying silent. Supporters argued that public figures, especially women, are often expected to tolerate unwanted attention just because they are famous. In their eyes, Claressa was setting an important example by defending her boundaries. Tasha K fueled the debate even further by standing firmly behind her claims. She stated that she had verified her sources and that the alleged legal filing was real. Despite critics accusing her of exaggeration or chasing views, Tasha insisted she was simply reporting what she had uncovered. She also placed the situation within a larger cultural context. According to Tasha, more celebrities and athletes are now refusing to stay quiet when they feel disrespected or harassed, instead of protecting others' reputations at the cost of their own mental health. They are choosing accountability. From Tasha's perspective, Claressa's actions were not impulsive or emotional. They were calculated, professional, and based on legal advice. Tasha emphasized that Claressa is someone who values structure and discipline, both in her career and personal life. So for her to allegedly take such a serious step, the situation must have felt truly significant. Tasha also addressed those who downplayed the situation. She argued that what seems minor to outsiders can feel deeply serious to the person experiencing it. While some fans dismissed the alleged messages as harmless, Tasha claimed that from Claressa's viewpoint, they represented a violation of trust and personal space. One of the key themes in this entire story, according to Tasha, is the difference between public perception and private reality. To the public, this may look like online drama, but behind the scenes, it allegedly involves real emotions, real stress, and real consequences. Tasha further claimed that Claressa's alleged court filing was not only directed at Papoose, but also sent a message to the entire industry. The message was simple: fame does not cancel personal boundaries. No matter how well-known someone is, they still have the right to feel safe, respected, and in control of their personal life. At the end of her video, Tasha made it clear that this story was only beginning. She suggested that more information would surface, including possible legal documents, public statements, and responses from both sides. According to her, this could easily turn into a long legal and public relations battle. For now, what remains clear is this: Claressa Shields, one of the strongest athletes in the world, is allegedly fighting a different kind of battle, not in the boxing ring, but in the court of public opinion and possibly in real court as well. And as Tasha K hinted, the real details behind the messages, the reactions of insiders, and the long-term consequences for both Claressa and Papoose are only going to become more intense in the next part of this story. As the controversy continued to unfold, tension shifted toward what many believed was the core of the entire situation: the alleged private communications between Claressa, Shields, and Papoose. According to Tasha K., these messages were not random or isolated, but part of a pattern that gradually made Claressa uncomfortable and concerned. Tasha K. claimed that once the screenshots began circulating online, they immediately raised questions about intent, boundaries, and persistence. While some posts were later said to be incomplete or edited, Tasha insisted that even the limited material available painted a troubling picture. In her view, the messages suggested repeated attempts by Papoose to stay in contact with Claressa, even when there were signs that she was not fully receptive. According to Tasha's account, the tone of the alleged messages reportedly shifted. Over time, what may have started as polite or casual communication allegedly evolved into something more personal and intrusive. Some messages were described as friendly, while others were said to contain intimate or suggestive undertones that Claressa might have found inappropriate. This is where public opinion began to split even more sharply. One side argued that such messages are common in celebrity circles and that the public often exaggerates private interactions. They claimed that nothing in the leaked screenshots seemed extreme enough to justify legal action. To them, it looked like a case of overreaction fueled by... Tasha explained that when someone repeatedly reaches out despite subtle signals of disinterest, it can feel overwhelming. In such situations, even seemingly polite messages can become uncomfortable. According to Tasha, this was exactly how Claressa experienced it. Another major factor that intensified the situation was timing. Tasha K. revealed that the alleged messages occurred during a crucial period in Claressa's professional life. At the time, Claressa was reportedly preparing for a major boxing event, which required intense focus, strict training, and emotional discipline. For an athlete at her level, even small distractions can affect performance. Tasha argued that receiving unwanted attention during such a high-pressure phase could be extremely stressful. Claressa was not just dealing with physical exhaustion, but also mental pressure. From her perspective, the messages were not only annoying, they were disruptive. This detail changed how many fans viewed the situation. Supporters of Claressa pointed out that elite athletes live under constant stress and scrutiny. their schedules are demanding, their careers are fragile, and their reputations are everything. In that context, any form of unwanted communication can feel like a serious intrusion. Tasha K claimed that Claressa saw the situation as more than just a personal annoyance. She reportedly felt that her privacy had been invaded at a moment when she needed maximum focus and emotional stability. According to Tasha, Claressa believed the communications were not respectful of her professional boundaries. As the screenshots spread, social media became chaotic. TikTok creators reenacted the messages in dramatic voiceovers. Instagram pages posted side-by-side timelines. Twitter users analyzed every word, emoji, and timestamp. The story became less about facts and more about interpretation. Some people accused Claressa of overreacting. Others accused Papoose of being persistent and insensitive. But Tasha K kept reminding viewers that public debates often ignore how situations feel to the person directly involved. Tasha stated that Claressa's legal team allegedly reviewed the messages and concluded that they could be classified as unwanted advances or communication harassment. From a legal perspective, it was not about how the public interpreted the messages, but how Claressa experienced them emotionally and psychologically. According to Tasha, this legal framing played a crucial role. Claressa's lawyers reportedly advised her that if she felt her boundaries were being violated, she had the right to take formal action regardless of how small the issue might appear to outsiders. Tasha also introduced another layer to the story. Insider context. She claimed that people close to Claressa revealed that this was not her first experience with uncomfortable attention from public figures. Over the years, Claressa had allegedly become extremely cautious about who she communicated with and how. Fame had taught her to be selective, guarded, protective of her personal space. According to these insiders, Claressa had built strict boundaries around her social life. She limited access, avoided unnecessary interactions, and preferred to keep her circle small. That's why, when the alleged situation with Papoose occurred, it triggered deeper concerns. From Claressa's perspective, this was not just about one person. It was about a pattern she had seen before. A pattern of public figures feeling entitled to her time and attention simply because she was famous. Tasha K suggested that this history made Claressa more sensitive to the situation. What others might see as casual messaging, Claressa allegedly saw as a warning sign. In her mind, allowing it to continue could set a precedent that her boundaries were flexible or negotiable. Another controversial aspect was the question of intent. Some fans argued that Papoose's intentions were probably harmless. They claimed that without clear proof of malicious intent, it was unfair to assume wrongdoing. But Tasha K responded with a key point. Intent is difficult to measure, but impact is very real. From Claressa's point of view, the impact was emotional. Discomfort, distraction, and a sense of being monitored or pursued. Whether Papoose meant harm or not, the effect on Claressa was reportedly significant enough to justify concern. This distinction between intent and impact became one of the most discussed themes in the entire controversy. On social media, users debated whether someone should be judged by what they mean or by how their actions affect others. Tasha K argued that in legal and emotional matters, impact often matters more. If someone feels harassed, stressed, or violated, their experience is valid, even if the other party claims innocent intentions. As the debate intensified, more people began to see the situation through Claressa's lens. They argued that women, especially high-profile women, are often expected to tolerate uncomfortable behavior just to avoid controversy. By taking action, Claressa was challenging that expectation. Tasha concluded that the leaked messages were not just gossip material. They represented a larger issue about consent, boundaries, and respect in celebrity culture. The story was no longer about who sent what text. It was about how power, fame, and access intersect in private communication. And according to Tasha K, this was only the beginning. She hinted that there were more details, more context, and more reactions from insiders that had not yet been revealed. The messages, the timing, and the emotional impact had set the stage for something much bigger, a public confrontation that could reshape how both Claressa Shields and Papoose were viewed. As the alleged situation between Claressa Shields and Papoose continued to dominate online discussions. The focus slowly shifted from the private messages to the massive public reaction that followed. What initially seemed like a personal matter was now turning into a full-blown media spectacle, fueled by speculation, opinion, and non-stop commentary. According to Tasha K., this stage of the story was just as important as the messages themselves. She argued that once a dispute becomes public, the narrative is no longer controlled by the people involved. Instead, it is shaped by fans, bloggers, influencers, and media outlets, all interpreting the same information in completely different ways. Almost overnight, the situation became trending content. Entertainment blogs published headlines filled with dramatic language. YouTube channels uploaded reaction videos every few hours. TikTok creators turned the story into skits, debates, and emotional monologues. The case was no longer about facts, it was about perception. Tasha K. pointed out that public opinion quickly split into two dominant camps. One group strongly supported Claressa. They believed she was doing exactly what more public figures should do, setting boundaries and refusing to tolerate behavior that made her uncomfortable. These supporters viewed her alleged legal action as an act of self-respect, not drama. They argued that fame does not mean giving up the right to privacy. The second group defended Papoose. They believed the situation had been exaggerated and that the internet was unfairly turning a private matter into a scandal. To them, the entire case felt like an overreaction driven by gossip culture and online outrage. Tasha K. acknowledged both perspectives, but emphasized something crucial. Neither side had access to the full story. The public was forming opinions based on partial information, edited screenshots, and personal biases. She explained that this is one of the biggest problems in celebrity controversies. Once a story goes viral, the truth becomes secondary to engagement. People choose the version that fits their emotions, not necessarily the version that reflects reality. As the narrative grew, industry pressure also began to play a role. Tasha claimed that insiders from both the sports and music industries were closely watching the situation. Publicists, managers, and legal teams were reportedly advising both sides on how to handle the media storm. Every potential statement, post, or reaction had to be carefully calculated. From Claressa's side, the strategy was allegedly to remain mostly silent and let legal processes speak. Tasha said this aligned with Claressa's personality: disciplined, focused, and controlled. Instead of arguing online, she reportedly preferred to let her attorneys handle the matter. From Papoose's side, according to Tasha, the approach was more cautious. His team was allegedly concerned about reputation damage. Even unproven allegations can have serious consequences in the entertainment industry. Endorsements, collaborations, and public trust are all influenced by public image. Tasha argued that fame often gives people a false sense of closeness. When two well-known figures interact, the public assumes familiarity, but in reality, personal boundaries still exist. Just because someone is visible does not mean they are emotionally available. In Claressa's case, Tasha suggested that her status as a successful athlete made the situation even more complicated. She is used to being admired, followed, and contacted by strangers. Over time, this can make anyone more sensitive to unwanted attention. Tasha also addressed gender dynamics. She noted that when women speak up about discomfort, they're often accused of being dramatic or attention-seeking. But when men experience similar situations, their reactions are taken more seriously. In her opinion, Claressa's case reflected this imbalance. Some critics accused Claressa of using her fame to create controversy. Others said she was being brave for addressing something many women quietly endure: The same story was producing completely opposite interpretations. Tasha K highlighted that this conflict was no longer just about two individuals. It had become a symbol of larger issues: consent, privacy, public pressure, and how society reacts to allegations involving famous people. She also revealed that, behind the scenes, there was growing stress on both sides. Insiders claimed that Claressa felt emotionally drained by the constant attention. Every headline, every comment, every theory added to the pressure. Meanwhile, Papoose was allegedly dealing with public scrutiny that he had not anticipated. Even without official charges or court documents released to the public, the mere association with controversy was affecting how people viewed him. Tasha described this stage as the psychological phase of the dispute. Legal battles happen in court, but reputational battles happen in the mind of the public, and those are often harder to control. One major shift in the narrative came when people started questioning why Claressa waited before taking action. Some critics asked why she didn't address the issue earlier or privately. Tasha responded by explaining that many victims hesitate before speaking up. Fear of backlash, career consequences, and public judgment often delay action. According to Tasha, Claressa allegedly tried to ignore the situation at first, but when it continued, she felt forced to respond more seriously. This detail changed how some fans perceived her decision. Instead of seeing it as sudden drama, they began to view it as a last resort. Tasha concluded that the public reaction itself had become part of the story. The internet was not just observing the conflict, it was shaping it. Every reaction video, tweet, and comment added another layer of meaning by this point. The original issue had transformed into a complex media narrative involving personal boundaries, professional reputations, and cultural expectations. And according to Tasha K, the most critical phase was still ahead, because when legal processes begin, public stories either collapse or become permanent. The next step would determine whether this controversy fades away or turns into a long-term legal and reputational battle. As the controversy surrounding Claressa Shields and Papoose reached its peak, the conversation inevitably shifted from social media speculation to potential legal consequences. According to Tasha K, the alleged court filing was more than a symbolic gesture. It was a statement about accountability, personal boundaries, and the limits of tolerance in public life. Tasha K explained that Claressa's legal team was reportedly preparing a formal complaint detailing the alleged harassment, inappropriate communication, and violations of personal boundaries she experienced. While the exact contents of the filing have not been made public, insiders claimed it touches on multiple dimensions: emotional, professional, and legal, underscoring the seriousness of Claressa's position. From a legal standpoint, the filing itself carries several implications. First, it establishes an official record of Claressa's complaints, which can influence potential court proceedings, negotiations, and even public perception. Second, it signals that she is willing to escalate the matter beyond private resolution, indicating that previous attempts at informal communication or intervention were allegedly unsuccessful. Tasha K emphasized that such filings are not undertaken lightly, especially by someone of Claressa's public stature. Legal action can be exhausting, time-consuming, and potentially damaging to a person's reputation if misrepresented, that Claressa allegedly pursued. This course highlights the depth of her concerns and her commitment to protecting her personal space and professional focus. Another key point Tasha highlighted is the precedent this could set. Public figures, particularly women in high-profile industries, often face unwelcome attention and harassment. By taking formal action, Claressa may be sending a message that fame does not override personal boundaries, and that everyone, regardless of their public status, is accountable for their actions. Tasha also discussed the ripple effects of the case on the public narrative. Even before official court proceedings, the filing influenced social media outlets, and celebrity commentary. Analysts, bloggers, and commentators were examining Claressa's motives, Papoose's intentions, and the broader cultural implications. The legal angle added weight and legitimacy to the story, transforming it from online drama into a potentially precedent-setting dispute. In addition to the legal implications, Tasha K touched on personal consequences. For Claressa, this dispute is not just about the law. It is about reclaiming control over her life. As a professional athlete, she operates under extreme scrutiny, rigorous schedules, and public expectations. Unwanted intrusion can disrupt mental preparation, emotional stability, and professional focus. By filing the case, he is allegedly taking steps to protect both her career and her peace of mind. From Papoose's perspective, the potential legal and reputational consequences are significant as well. Allegations of harassment or misconduct can impact public perception, industry relationships, and future collaborations. Even without a court ruling, the association with controversy can create long-term challenges for a public figure's image. Tasha K highlighted that these dynamics reveal an underlying tension in celebrity culture. Fame provides visibility, opportunity, and influence, but it also blurs boundaries and complicates personal interactions. For Claressa, this tension reached a breaking point, forcing her to choose between maintaining silence or asserting her rights. The story also illustrates the broader challenges women face in entertainment and sports. Tasha emphasized that Claressa's situation is emblematic of the difficulties many women encounter navigating unwanted attention, preserving professional focus, and defending personal autonomy. Legal action, in this case, becomes a tool to assert that autonomy in a highly publicized environment. Tasha speculated on what might happen next. Legal processes could include court hearings, statements from both parties, and potentially negotiations or settlements behind closed doors. Each step will be scrutinized by the public and media, further complicating the narrative and prolonging the story. She also noted the psychological component. Public disputes are not just legal battles. They are mental and emotional tests. The constant attention, speculation, and commentary can take a toll on both Claressa and Papoose. Managing public opinion while pursuing legal action adds another layer of complexity, despite the uncertainty. Tasha maintained that Claressa's approach appears strategic and disciplined. Her alleged actions reflect careful planning, professional guidance, and a focus on preserving her dignity. By taking formal steps, Claressa is reportedly attempting to protect herself while minimizing unnecessary escalation. Tasha also highlighted the cultural significance of the case. In an era